Hello, everybody. I'm Cassidy King. Welcome to Sports Goombahs presents Fantasy Football Wednesday. Fantasy Football Wednesday is brought to you by Castle Public Adjusters. 215-752-1237 or check them out at www.castlepa.com. Now, without further ado, arguably the best fantasy football expert in the country, Mikey DeWall.
I immediately discredit that's not correct. I
said arguably.
Yeah. I'll argue against that topic.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny you said it because one of my friends has sent me a screenshot of his teams. He's in like 4 Yahoo leagues, which that's too many anyway. But he sends me a screenshot and it said, he's like, dude, am I good? And it was first out of like 10, first out of 10, first out of 12, and second out of 12. Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ. You need to get him on the show. Yeah, he lives in Jersey, so he wasn't available for it.
But he listens to us.
He does. Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's why he's so good. I think it's why he's so good because he keeps listening every week. Of course, this is the SG Fantasy Football Show, the playoff edition, Week 14. If you're out of the playoffs, you're probably not watching this. So, sorry, losers. So for the winners, this is the winner's circle here. If you're still playing, it's because you're good, and you're probably listening all year because I'm good.
Yeah,
I was.
Hey, you're what you are, man. You know.
No, my season was like. Do you remember the Eagles Super Bowl season? I think it was Super Bowl season when they started off like 13-1, and they didn't really care those last 2 games. Like it was like the Rams and the Bengals. That's what I did. My team started out 10-1. I already clinched my first round bye, so I stopped paying attention. I lost 2 straight, but like I said, first round bye, I'm still pretty good, looking good. Although I did just lose Mark Ingram for the year. That was wild.
Whoa!
You didn't know about this?
It didn't say that on mine.
Yeah, Mark Ingram's on IR.
No way.
Shoulder
I
injury.
didn't see that. I saw the queue. I didn't see it. Oh,
no,
it's already
it's
starting from your.
Full blown.
I'm hitting the playoffs and it's starting already.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm hurting from that one too. So make sure you go grab his replacement, which we will obviously get to, and I'll tell you who to go, who to grab, who not to grab. Like I said,
write that down.
Just keep listening. That's what
it might be too late for me.
He's probably going actually. His backup, who it's going to be, but like obviously, this is the SG Fantasy Football Show. You can tweet us at Sports Goombahs on Twitter. You can tweet me personally at Walpeezy, WALPEEZY. And I was going to guess before we even get to the fantasy stuff, I got to throw this out there. The February 1st, the Monday show, which you should be watching. If you're not, why not? Apparently you are, because ratings are going up.
Yep, ratings are definitely going up.
Yep. So February 1st, we're doing a live show from Steam Pub in Southampton, 606 2nd Street Pike in Southampton. Myself, Cashy, the chef, some guests, some prizes, some good time. Some tickets, some shirts, and more. We got it all. So make sure you come check us out live February 1st.
Support the cause.
8 p.m. Monday between the championship games and the Super Bowl, which there's one bye week.
Yeah,
there's one bye week.
You and I, we were
on the same page.
Yeah, but we were just thought I was talking bye weeks, regular bye weeks.
Yeah, I thought you said there's two off weeks. No. I was like, no, there's one. But yeah, anyway, let's get to fantasy. That's what we're here for. Start with the quarterback rankings. I saw when I was looking around some places, nobody had my boy number 1. I don't know why, just because he lost 2 straight games. Tom Brady still had 38 points last week. He still had 3-4 touchdowns, whatever it was.
In the fourth quarter.
No, he got too early.
Too early and
too early, too late. Yep. Unfortunately, it was too late. But I still have Tom Brady as my number 1 quarterback. He's on the road against Houston. So that's in a dome. So that'll be beneficial. Houston's they've been hot. Didn't look so good this week, but so I like Brady. Continue to roll with Brady. That and the fact that the guys who he's usually up against for the top spot have not been as hot, as you'll see later in the rankings here. Number 2, though, is Cam Newton. Absolutely. The team that has been good. And it's funny because I think it was either today or it might have been yesterday. Was actually the 1-year anniversary of him. Remember that car accident?
Yep.
He hasn't lost since that car accident. Right. He hasn't lost since then. I don't think this is going to be the week he loses. He's playing at home against Atlanta. Atlanta has completely given up. Atlanta is awful. And he's at home. So I think Newton's going to have another really, really good game. At least rush for 1, maybe throw 2 or 3 more.
You look at that schedule, you think, is he going to lose? They're going to lose a game?
Yes, dude.
Something's going to happen.
They're not that good. I mean, they are, obviously, but they're not.
But you look at what they're playing coming up the line. It's like nobody cares.
Well, I mean, look at their division. I hate to pull a division card, but Atlanta, New Orleans, and Tampa is not exactly the AFC North or anything like that.
No defenses.
So it's not very good. But he gets one of those matchups. You get it to Atlanta. Atlanta is completely done. They are done. They're awful. Oh, they're awful. Number 3, Russell Wilson at Baltimore had another good game passing the ball last week. Wilson has been really good. I never thought I'd put him up this high. And Baltimore's not a very good team. Baltimore's not a very good defense. So Russell Wilson at Baltimore, I'm fine with that roll at number 3. Number 4, Carson Palmer. I mean, somehow he's Mr. Consistent these days. Every week he's putting up numbers. He's at home again this week. He gets Minnesota, which is it's an above average defense, but we saw these got absolutely torched by Russell Wilson last week. So it is possible to score on Minnesota, and I think Carson's going to do it a lot. Number 5, another one of these guys who has not been as hot. That's Aaron Rodgers. He gets a home game against Dallas. That can help. But Rodgers, other than unless he's throwing up 80-yard Hail Marys, getting you an extra.
That was his money that night.
That was extra 15 points in one play. Without that play, not that good of a game. And he's probably about 5 spots lower, but sometimes it's all it takes is one pass to make a game. Number 6, Drew Brees. They said the teams they're dead. The teams left are dead, but he's still playing. He's still playing hard. He had a solid game last week. He gets Tampa Bay this week on the road. I'm fine with that. I mean, Breeze, he's especially, like I said, you're going to hear the rest of the names on this list. You're still going to start Breeze over most of them.
Yep.
Blake Bortles at home against Indy. He just killed it last week. It was an absolute shootout in Tennessee. I think we mentioned before how the old, and this is what we made during our pick section, the Browns-Bengals games used to just be shootouts every year.
Right.
I think we're turning into now that's the era of the two bad teams. It's a Texans-Titans game.
Right.
Because that was an absolute shootout, and it's just two talented quarterbacks with Mariota and Bortles, and 2 not very good defenses. So this week Bortles gets Indy. Again, Indy fighting for playoff lives, but just because you're fighting for your lives and back up against the wall, all those cliches, doesn't mean you're very good. Indy's not very good. Roethlisberger absolutely shredded them last week, so I expect Bortles to do the same thing. Number 8, Ben Roethlisberger gets a tough matchup, big matchup at Cincinnati. It's gonna be a really good game. Cincinnati's defense is really good, so normally Big Ben's a top 3 to 5 quarterback, especially with nowadays. But this is a tough matchup for him, so that's why he's a little lower. He's 8 this week. Still going to be a good game. It's Ben. And number 9 is actually on the other side of the same game. Andy Dalton at home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh their defense isn't as good, although they looked really good last week against Hasselbeck, which was my sleeper of the week, which did not pan out. Didn't pan out at all. But I got some better ones for you this week. But yeah, Andy Dalton's my number 9 at home against Pittsburgh. Number 10, Jameis Winston. It's a fresh face to the rankings here. But anytime you're at home against New Orleans, whatever you're looking at on your computer, by the way, is giving us ads.
Ads?
Yeah, I just heard a Geico ad on your computer.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Pretty cool, man.
Geico's not paying us, so it's not pretty cool. If they're paying us, they can add on.
I don't hear Geico.
Well, it's off now. It was just using my ear, so it's probably over the computer. It doesn't matter. But
we're getting hacked again, man.
No, we're not. I can show you that. Jameis Winston, though, like I said, at home against New Orleans, a remedy for anyone who's getting New Orleans defense. It is atrocious. So yeah, go with Jameis Winston here. Number 11, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He gets Tennessee, but that's a plus. He's at home. But yeah, he's got really good receivers. Decker and Marshall are really good, and he's playing really good. I mean,
these points.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a guy who 5 years ago you assumed was his last year. And like every year it's like, okay, this guy's gonna play anymore. But he's gonna be here for a while. This guy's really good. Geno Smith can go somewhere because he's never getting that job back.
He's getting any job back. Where's he going? He's gonna have to wait till somebody goes down somewhere.
I think there's a couple guys ahead of him on the depth chart for. Would you rather have Geno Smith or Griffin or Manziel? Like these are all.
Who? Manziel.
Yeah, I'd rather. I think Geno's a distant third amongst those 2.
They're all mental cases, man.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do a reclamation project, I know.
Yeah, right.
Smith is number 3.
Yeah.
And number 12, Tyrod Taylor. He gets, and again, this is something that really helps quarterback get Philly. So he's on the road against Philly. I like Tyrod Taylor. He had a good game last week too, so it's not like I'm going just off his matchup. It's the fact that he had a really good game last week. My sleeper pick of the week this week is Brock Osweiler at home against the Raiders. I think it's a solid matchup. He's a little lower in a lot of people's rankings because he didn't have a great. He's winning games. He's not putting up gaudy numbers. But I think it's a chance to put up some gaudy numbers depending on the weather. I don't know. Never know what Denver's going to be like in the winter.
That becomes his offense. Yeah, it could be something to reckon with in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I told him, I don't think Manning gets his job back. I don't see how he can. If Osweiler keeps winning, you can't.
Yeah,
you just can't do it. And my bust quarterback of the week, you didn't hear his name, and I told you his team stinks. It's Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
So Matt Ryan especially the fact he's at Carolina, that alone, even if he was hot, I'd still say he's a bust of the week. But when you're that cold, you're on the road, and you're playing Carolina. That's
Last
strike
his
1, 2,
last
and
good
3.
game was in Philly, right?
Who?
Ryan.
No, he was never in Philly.
No, well, yeah, Philly was there.
That was week 1. No, he had better weeks since week 1.
It's a passing
Yes,
wise,
of
yeah.
course.
I mean, they went 6-0, but was it all on him?
It was never on him. It's all on Julio and Devontae Freeman. But
Right,
I mean, he's had good games since then.
Well, and a lot of passing runs with them too. He's a disappointment. He was disappointed last year.
He's definitely a disappointment, that's for sure. I mean, you expected better out of him. Recapping last week's pick, my sleeper pick of the week was Matt Hasselbeck, who finished for although, hear me out though, he finished with a whopping 6.8 points. That's awful. But I made up for it though, because my bust of the week was Phil Rivers, who had 6 points. Actually, he was even worse. So at least I hit one half of the picks.
Who's playing Phil Rivers at this point? I mean, he's
you're not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but even since the week I always talk about when he had his 500 yards. Since then, it was been awful. He hasn't had anything. I don't get his double digits, has he?
He's lost every receiver he had.
Yep.
They've all gotten hurt. They've all broken their necks or I don't know, one had a lacerated spleen.
Must
or
be
something
the way
like
he
that.
lays them out there.
Yeah, but it's if you're starting Phil Rivers anymore, that's why I'm not even putting him in the rankings. I'm not even putting him on the bus. Like it's just it's to the point where you're just not even
thinking. Get out of San Diego, man. It's time for him to go out of there. Go someplace else.
Yeah, they don't have much in the form of any kind of weapons, really. Moving over to the running backs this week. New number one this week, Doug Martin. Never thought I'd have a Buccaneer my number one at anything, but Doug Martin is my number one running back this week. I guess he does get New Orleans, which is a plus, and he's so hot. He is so hot right now. I think ever since the Eagles, we gave him a second life, and he's took over. Actually, it's funny because if you look at a lot of these names, I mean, just from the top 4 running backs I'm about to name, these are guys that were all very, very obtainable early in the week, and now here we are, playoff time. They're the top guys. So number 1, like I said, Doug Martin. Number 2 is Thomas Rawls at Baltimore. He's a stud, and he gets a good matchup against Baltimore. So I like Thomas Rawls a lot this week. Number 3, Shady McCoy. I mean, he's expected, but that's what I do. But I think at Philly, the fact that we're not a very good defense, and secondly, the fact that this might be the number 1 revenge game of all revenge games. We talk about DeMarco against Dallas and things like that, but that was just kind of a forced revenge game. They didn't oust him. They didn't literally trade him. They just didn't want to sign him to a lot of money. Shane McCoy came off back-to-back good season, and he got just shipped out of town. So we heard his comments today. He's not a happy camper. So I think Shady is going to
a lot of talking, man. A lot of talking going.
And what's the one thing we know about his coach? His coach loves to stick it to people. Yeah. He loves it. He'll go out of his way to do it. I can guarantee you Shady's going to be captain for this game. He'll be at midfield with the coin toss. And he's going to want to give the ball a lot. I think he would rather have good revenge than a win at this point. I think that's the way Rex Ryan operates. So expect McCoy to have a good game. Number 4, David Johnson at home against Minnesota. So, like I said, it's an above average defense, but it's a slumping defense. It's not like they're red hot. This isn't a month or two ago. And David Johnson's getting all the touches he can handle now down in Arizona. So, like I said, Doug Martin, Thomas Rawls, and David Johnson are number 1, 2, and 4. It's crazy. Running backs are supposed to be the position where there's not really surprises. It's the best guys are always up there, but not so much anymore.
Dropping like flies, man.
Yeah, they are.
Every week.
They are. Number 5, Adrian Peterson. You can't drop him too far. Awful game last week. Pathetic game. That was against a good team in Seattle. So he's going against Arizona. So it did scare me a little bit to possibly drop him even lower, but I'm not in love. I'm not in love with a lot of people behind him. So I couldn't drop him any farther than 5. The only person I could have possibly put ahead of him was number 6, which is D'Angelo Williams at Cincinnati. But again, like I said, that's a tough matchup too. But he gets too many. The offense is too good in Pittsburgh, and he's going to get too many chances. So I do like D'Angelo Williams at number 6. Number 7, Jonathan Stewart. Again, another guy who beginning the year was obtainable. You could have got him, and I think I got him in like around 6 or 7. So a lot of these guys that were drafted a little later really rising to the top. Yeah, and John Stewart's been really good this year. And that was one of my projections before the season. He was going to have a really good season. Like I said, Atlanta. Enough said. Number 8, Matt Forte. Looks like he's back from his injury. He had a good game last week. This week gets Washington at home, which is a big thing. Washington I'm pretty sure they were like unbeaten, maybe. They were unbeaten at home before this loss last week. So they're a night and day. There's 2 teams who are really night and day on the road, or at least that I know of, that are on the road versus at home. We'll get to one in a second, but Washington's not very good on the road. So them going to Chicago, I think Forte can have a really good game. Number 9, Todd Gurley. He's starting to drop down the rankings. He was hot at one point.
Disappeared the last few weeks.
It's just that it's not his fault.
It's
That
the
team is just so awful.
That'll turn anybody.
That quarterback play is awful. The receiver play is awful.
Coaching is awful.
It's that's what you get when you get Jeff Fisher. And I've always said this. I mean, I would rather
his MO for his teams.
If I'm a GM for a team, I mean, I would literally take a chance on it. I would rather take a chance on a guy who's never coached anything, just being a hot coordinator or even a hot college coach, than these retreads.
Fisher's old school. He's what's he? He's got to be. He's 25 years in the league,
at least.
And he was the Eagles coach in the mid 80s, right? Late 80s.
I don't know. I don't know when he started.
The defensive coordinator when Gruden. Yeah, well, in other words, he's been around doing his defensive shtick for a long time. He took that buddy ride in 46 and worked with it. That's what he works with from back then.
I could care less about his defense. I care about the fact that he's not a good offensive coach.
That's it. He does. That's right.
But I'm saying, but like these Jeff Fishers and these Lovie Smiths coaches, there's no appeal to that. Yeah. There's no appeal to me. I'd rather take a lightning in a bottle, try to get the next Ron Rivera, hotshot coordinator, now 12-0 head coach, or the next Sean Payton, those kind of guys. Josh McDaniels, wink, wink, come to the Eagles. That would never gonna happen. So yeah, Todd Gurley, but the matchup is okay. The fact that he's still in the dome, he's at home. Detroit, they've been hot as of late, as you know. The Detroit, if you're watching Monday, it was my pick of the week to win the game and cover the bet. They're actually dogs. So like I say, I mean the Rams are favorite. So maybe there's something.
Some people think they still won that game.
They know more. Yeah. So the Rams are favorite. Vegas usually knows more than we do. So maybe.
Oh, do they?
Really have a good game. A little bit more. Number 10, Lamar Miller. And this is a team where it's completely night and day with it when they're on the home run as opposed to being on the road. I think they're either undefeated or have like one loss at home, and they're completely winless on the road. So they're at home, and they get the Giants. And the Giants' defense is not very good. So I think Lamar Miller has a chance to put up a solid game this week. Number 11, Devontae Freeman. He said good guy. He was number 1 for a while, running back. Still a good player. But at Carolina, that's a death sentence for anyone, any player. It's such a good defense. I wouldn't look at anybody going against Carolina. Number 12, Sean Drone. Definitely new name to this list. It's 49ers players. That's I usually tend to ignore 49er players. There's like a filter you can put block all Niners. It just takes them right out of my ranking and can work with the actual players.
Guys that want to play it over there now.
Well, yeah, exactly. And Blaine Gabbert looks like an actual quarterback. I had a friend text me today who he's like, I need a quarterback because his quarterback was Matt Ryan all year, and he's like, I just can't do it anymore. He's like, he's asking me like, so this guy, and he goes, what about Blaine Gabbert? I was like, you're gonna, because he's in the playoffs. Obviously, he's playing week 14. The fact that you're considering Blaine Gabbert as your playoff quarterback is insane. But Gabbert's actually not horrible. I don't hate Blaine Gabbert.
Who's he going against?
He gets Cleveland.
Okay, well, that's
there you go. Yeah. So I do like Sean Drone this week at number 12. Number 13, TJ Yeldon. He's at home against Indy. Like I said, I've very vocally never been a fan of Indy. Not this year, at least. I was maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks. I realized they're just not that good. And TJ Yeldon had a monster game last week. Again, everyone did. It was a shootout. I don't expect a shootout this week. Well, maybe it could be, but I just think Yeldon's a solid play here. Number 14, Chris Ivory at home against Tennessee. Ivory is what he is. He's maxed out in terms of big monster weeks. He had a couple of those early. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. But it's a steady guy. He doesn't catch any passes really, so that kind of hinders it. But he gets all the groundwork. So and then Tennessee's a good matchup. So there you go. That's all I got to say about that. Number 15, Charkandrick West. Basically here because I like his matchup. He's still the number 1 guy. He still gets the bulk of the carries over Spencer Ware. I do like Spencer Ware as well. I said I don't like him top 20. You're not going to hear his name, but if you have Spencer Ware, I'm fine with you starting him as well. Again, at home against San Diego, that's a bad team, bad defense, good situation all around. And the Chiefs are hot. Chiefs are too hot right now. They're too hot for my liking.
It's got to stop.
I know. So number 13, number 16 is Ronnie Hillman. Same kind of thing. I like his matchup. He's at home. He's against Oakland.
He's playing now for me.
It's just CJ Anderson's banged up. He didn't practice today. Yep. So if CJ Anderson practiced today, I probably would have Anderson in his spot. But the fact that he's not practicing yet worries me a little bit. So I like one of these two. I think one of these two, or possibly even both. We've seen it before. They both.
I played them both a couple weeks ago. So it wasn't too bad.
I would never advise starting 2 guys on the same team. But I'm saying both can have good games. I just don't. Like you said, it's a coin flip week to week. Who's gonna have the better game? Number 17, Buck Allen. He absolutely killed it last week. He had 120 yards receiving, 10 catches. He put up receiver numbers. Oh, and by the way, he also ran for 60-some yards too.
Right.
So he had a good game, but unfortunately, he had Seattle, and that's not good. So he drops from where he'd probably be top 5 down to 17. That's how good Seattle is. Number 18, LeGarrette Blount. I expected him to run all over the Eagles. They just didn't do it. I thought, especially when they went 14-0, I said, "Oh man, it's gonna be a big Blount game." Never happened. I don't think they're gonna make that same mistake again. And they get Houston, so I think Blount will bounce back, have a solid game. James White seems just he took a lot of, but he took all of it, the receiving stuff. Blunt's never gonna catch a ball. It's not what he does. Number 19, Darren McFadden at Green Bay. McFadden and Cowboys. I mean, he scored again last week. Yeah, there's not too much upside in that.
Boys are back. They think they can win a Super
They're only
Bowl
one
now.
game. I mean,
they're talking ball over
that
there. That
Romo injury. I mean, it's crazy to think that now. If he didn't get hurt and he was still healthy, and he'd only be getting more and more healthy every week.
Right.
That I would be scared of Denver of Dallas.
They made a mistake by putting him back in. He's forced back in. And I guess if Jerry knew the division was going to be so bad that he could sit him out longer and still have a chance.
They thought it was it was like, this was the end.
Now or never.
If it wasn't here, it's gonna be too late. Little did he know, here we are 4 weeks after the season, and you're one game out. Castle had an okay game, but no, I mean, it's not good in Dallas. But hopefully, McFadden is like their most reliable guy pretty much right now. Dez didn't do much last week. And number 20 is Fat Eddie. Fat Eddie Lacy got benched last week, but apparently they said he's going to be they said he's going to be the number 1 guy this week. And they said he looks rejuvenated. That's what they said. I never know.
What does that mean?
I don't. I never know what that means. But he's at home against Dallas. I think it's a good situation for him. I think Green Bay is going to win that game, so he might get some fourth quarter carries. My sleeper pick of the week, Tim Hightower. That is the new replacement for. In fact, I'm saying Tim Hightower's name in 2015. This guy was out of the league like 4 years ago. But yeah, he is going to be taking over for Mark Ingram.
Doesn't that guy Kirby, the fullback, get a bunch of
Kirby?
Isn't it Kirby his backup?
No, there's no Kirby there.
Joe would check that. I thought this guy's name was Kirby.
They had Kyrie Robinson before. I don't know if that's what you're thinking of.
No,
he broke his leg, so he's out.
Yeah, no, I know
that. No, they don't have any. I don't even think they have a fullback. They don't really use fullbacks there. I think of John Kuhn. In Green Bay. No, but either way, yeah, Tim Hightower is going to be getting the new bulk of the carry. CJ Spiller, you would assume, would be the next guy in line, but I
think he's out, Spiller.
No, Spiller's not out.
Yeah,
He'll be.
That's who I probably have him confused with. Spiller's probably the one I thought they was going to take over.
He should, but you'd think obviously, the guy number 2 becomes number 1, but it doesn't work that way because he's just a pass catcher,
right?
Return guy. So Hightower's going to get the bulk of the carries. At least that's what I believe, and that's why I'm going to go with Hightower as my sleeper pick of the week. My bust player of the week, Frank Gore at Jacksonville. I just think there's nothing left in his tank. And I've had him before, and I don't like using the same people, but when I'm looking at rankings and people on ESPN have him as like the number 13 running back this week, I'm like, how can you possibly be comfortable with starting him over the likes of Yeldon and Hillman and Buck Allen and Blunt? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I think there's nothing left in his tank at all.
He's nothing but a name
exactly.
back there.
And they're saying at Jacksonville, thinking, "Oh, I remember when Jacksonville was
Jacksonville's
awful."
on the move, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up a lot of points last week, but it wasn't on the ground game. It wasn't Antonio Andrews doing anything. So I'm not a fan of Gore. Last week, my sleeper running back of the week, I did nail that. I told you Sean Drone, and he had 19.6 points. He had a good game. Fortunately, I didn't do too hot with my bust of the week. Latavius Murray went up against Denver. I believe it was Denver. He ended up with 19 points, so not a good bust pick, but I thought Denver's defense was better than that. I guess they're not. On the wire, there's a couple guys out there. Obviously, Tim Hightower is a name that is just coming out now, which is good because not really good. Obviously, you'd rather have Mark Ingram, but the fact that it came out today, you didn't have to go through waivers. It was basically the first act. Whoever got that update first on their phone, run to the waiver wire, get Tim Hightower. Another 2, obviously, James White had a huge game for New England. He seems to be the new Deion Lewis role. And if you're really desperate, Bilal Powell. I'm not a fan of him from the Jets, but he seems to be the passing back. He caught 10 passes last week. And obviously injury news, no other bigger news than Mark Ingram. He went from the top 5 back. He's actually number 3 in all fantasy running backs, right now. And he's now out for the year when you didn't even realize he was hurt at all up until today. When my friend texted me before my phone even went off. He's like, dude, Ingram. It's actually the guy who's in first place in all the league. This is probably why he's in first place in every league because he's just sitting on his phone getting updates all day. And he's like, dude,
that's a fantasy player.
Ingram's out. She's like, what are you gonna do? Because he knows I have Ingram. I was like, nah. I was like, he'll be fine. And then literally 10 minutes later, my phone goes up, vibrates. Mark Ingram placed on season-ending IR. I'm like, shit. Tim Hightower. I actually know it's funny. I had to go to the team's depth chart online to find out who the best, because I knew it wasn't gonna be Spiller. I'm like, who the hell else is out there? And I was like, oh, Tim Hightower.
Somebody picked him up. Yep.
And then it's funny because I actually got a text from a guy in my league, not the guy who's
Spiller's
on top of
out
everything.
there, but well,
yeah. I mean, if Spiller's out there, there's no problem with that. I mean, because he'll get obviously he can't get less touches with the top guy being out there. He'll get more touches. I just think Hightower's can get the running touches. My friend texted me. He said, "You effer." He obviously used the real word. He said, "I was about to pick up Hightower, and my phone died." I'm like, "Yeah, nice try, buddy." I have Ingram. I deserve first. Right? I should get first say in it. There's nothing worse than when your star running back gets hurt and you didn't have the handcuff, and somebody goes out and snags him. So
Hightower, does he have any?
No, he's awful. He
has touches this year, doesn't he?
He's like 3.
He might not even be on the list here. You gotta dig him up.
Yeah, he's a guy you're not going to search by top free agents. You need to physically manually type his name in to find him. Like I said, look at his career numbers. Tim Hightower was out of the league for years, and when he got re-signed, I said I didn't even know he was still actively pursuing a professional football career. He's still available?
Yeah, he's still available.
Go grab him.
I just did.
There you go. See, I'm always helping you out, Cash.
Holy crap.
We'll move to the receivers. Number one wide receiver this week is Antonio Brown. Even if I didn't truly believe he was number one receiver, from his celebration alone, I had to put him number one. It's an honorary number one. That was the greatest. There's a full speed, split-legged crotch shot into the goalpost was phenomenal. I loved it so much. And I'm not usually a huge fan of celebration. There's a lot of the Cam Newton. Everyone's making a huge fuss. He gives balls to the kids. Like I could care less about that's so corny to me. I could really care less about that. And it's funny because I saw during the last game he was handing the ball to a kid.
And he pushed it. He pointed it out who he wanted to.
Yeah, there was a Saints mom that tried to grab it. I'm like, and of course, if she did win, people would have cried and made her give it back.
YouTube and the goal lady been disgraced.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? Exactly. I'd do the same thing. Just like remember the Phillies guy who pushed the grandma? Doing the same thing. You get a chance to get a ball?
Yeah, that was. Wait a minute, man. You can't assault an old lady. You can't do it, man.
Look, the ball is. It's a fair. I mean, it's not fair. It's that ball is in play for me to grab. I'm grabbing it. I don't care who I need to shove. I'll push over a kid and a grandma with both hands and grab that ball. But yeah, so Antonio Brown's a man. He gets Cincinnati. Obviously, like I said, not the greatest matchup, but he's that good, and he is as long as Ben Roethlisberger is his quarterback. If anybody else is quarterback, he becomes human again. But when he has Ben, when those two are together,
let me just go back to Tim Hightower before we move forward. I mean, playing him is an option, obviously, but when you got guys like Hillman on the bench and I guess not Langford's not out now since
he's
goes back, and then I had that Alfred Blue too, who I picked up last week.
I don't hate Blue at all. I was looking at him. He didn't
do nothing last week, but
he's going to be the number one guy
eventually. Yeah, I don't have a choice. I got Ronnie Hillman and like you say, CJ Anderson.
Hillman's a good speculative pickup. Like I said, he's my sleeper pick of the week. But I guess if you notice, he wasn't in the top 10, the top 20. It's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, he's a must. It's not like he's D'Angelo Williams.
Gotta keep an eye on CJ
where it's
Anderson.
like, okay, he's got the job. You got to throw him in because the Saints are solid, but they aren't. It's not like Thomas Rawls where it's like, okay, just getting this job makes you a star. If I'm trying to think of somebody else who's out there or a position like, let's just say, for instance, Jonathan Stewart went down. And someone became that new starting running back. That's the kind of job where you get that job, you get the player, you start him. Because Carolina is so good, you want their running back. New Orleans is good, but it's not like, okay, I need to have New Orleans running back no matter who it is. Like I said, Tim Hightower, I'm pulling up his stats now for his career. I just want to see exactly how long he didn't play football for. Yeah, there you go. So he last played and had 300 yards in 2011. Means 12, 13, 14. In the first half of 15, he didn't play football professionally. And here we are. And if you want to start him in the playoffs, by all means, be my guest. Like I said, I think it's just a good low, but I don't do daily fantasy. We know that, but I'm assuming he's not going to be worth a lot of money there. Basically, is what I'm saying. I think it's a low budget. You're not going to have to.
Is he better than Giovanni Bernard going against Pittsburgh?
I might actually go Hightower, to be honest.
Really?
I think I might go Hightower on that one.
Yeah.
It's that Cincinnati thing. It's such a it's such a yeah, I don't know the words. It's just you never know,
Right.
and it's not just like
There's no set offense there.
exactly, and it's not like one guy. They both do good. It's not
Right.
like it's kind of not like where like Denver. They both get some kind of touches.
Right.
You start one of those Cincinnati running backs. He may have a great game. He may come up with 2 points.
You hurt me last week.
Like
Yep.
so, yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't bank on Joe Bernard. That's all
I'm like you. I'm sitting here looking at my roster, thinking of I'm in the play. I'm in the top team here, and I'm moving Hightower up and down my list to where I can fit him in.
Yeah.
And last week I wouldn't even have said his name.
Yeah, it would have been great for a good reason. You wouldn't have to.
Right.
It would. I mean, obviously, it would be great if you don't have to start him, but it's just you could definitely do worse. And there's guy where when it comes to high ceiling, his ceiling's going to be higher based off his offense. And
Right.
I mean, Mark Ingram, like you said, the team wasn't that great. Obviously, Mark Ingram, he was the number 3 running back in all fantasy. So anytime that job opens up, it's obviously it's something you want to look at and possibly look into starting because the production potential is there. It's been there all year. He's had great games. Moving back to receivers again, like I said, obviously Antonio Brown number 1, number 2 Odell Beckham. Receivers, it's the same guys every week at this point. Like I said, with the running backs, it's in flux every week. There's new guys up there. These receivers are consistent. I'll just throw them right out there. Odell Beckham, and I don't even need to explain it. Odell Beckham is just, I think he's the most talented receiver in football.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if he had a better situation, and if you plug him in Antonio Brown's spot, I mean, that'd be pretty deadly, really deadly actually. So he's in a spot where he's the only receiver, and he has Eli, who
you never know what you're
you
getting.
never know what you're gonna get out of Eli.
He's benched in my team.
He's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get out of Eli.
I put the IR on him. Okay.
So and he still put up monster numbers. So imagine if he gets a good situation.
Yeah.
He gets at Miami this week. Number 3, DeAndre Hopkins. Again, another guy who's always up here. He gets New England. I never know what to make out of guys going against New England because popular belief is always if you're getting blown out, you're throwing the ball a lot,
right.
Which means a lot of touches and a lot of catches for these guys. But that really hasn't been the case with New England. But Hopkins is good enough to where I think he's going to overcome it. He'll get points.
Grunk back this week?
No.
Well, and they're in the same position they've been. Amendola's back.
Yeah. So this isn't by any, especially being at home too. It isn't by any stretch of the imagination a game where they're getting blown out. They may not get blown out. Although I think
Patriots need to win football games now. This is no joke.
Especially it's not. This isn't coast to the playoffs now. Now
there's 2 teams up their butt now. So they got.
Yeah, I mean their division's obviously set. That's fine. That's not the word. But now you really don't want to play the opening round. If you don't have to, you really don't want to play.
That team doesn't want to play the opening round.
No, exactly. Of all teams trying to get healthy, you really want that extra week. So I think this could be a game where they are just
funny how the season changed on them, man.
Maybe it's good. Maybe a little fire into their ass.
It's all survivor of the fittest NFL.
Maybe a little fire into their ass, and that's what they need right now. Number 4, Allen Robinson. He had a monster game last week. I think he had 10 catches, like 150 yards, and I think 3 touchdowns. You went to college, right?
Where you go? Here, local.
He's a Nittany Lion.
No kidding.
I was a huge Allen Robinson fan coming out of college. Jags snagged him up in the second round, and he's a stud. He's an absolute stud. Like I said, he gets at home against Indy, so I like the matchup. Number 3, AJ Green at home against Pittsburgh. Again, same guys up top. Good matchup. Pittsburgh's defense is something other than last week. It's a team you can move on, and especially when you have a good offense like Cincinnati does. So I like AJ Green. Number 5, number 6, Brandon Marshall. This guy gets Julio Jones level targets. He gets a lot of targets, gets a lot of balls his way, and he does a lot. I mean, he may make a boneheaded play, but as long as he doesn't turn it over,
that's such a key thing in this stuff, man. You gotta focus on guys that get the ball, the targets.
Yeah, it's all about the targets.
You gotta look at that.
You can be the best receiver in football, but if you get 4 passes thrown your way, there's not much you can do with it.
Back in the old days, when your flex would be a halfback who caught passes and ran the ball, it was a perfect type of player, which you don't have no more in the NFL. It really isn't that pass catching back anymore.
Well, they are, but they're guys who that's all they do.
Right.
There's the Theo Riddicks,
right?
Darren Sproles,
right?
These are the guys who are literally Danny Woodhead. That's all they do is catch passes out of the backfield. You don't have those guys anymore. Where back in the day with Marshall Falk catching 100 balls. Westbrook's the other, but Marshall Falk was running for 1,500 yards. He's also catching 80 balls.
I mean, Shady McCoy did it too in the beginning there, and then they stopped throwing to him when he was in Philadelphia. I don't know what they're doing in Buffalo, but
I'm trying to look at him. Forte is one guy like that though. Forte's still a pass catcher. He's trying to look at everybody else on this list. I don't see anybody else that jumps out at me as a big, great pass catcher. So I mean, you're 100% right, and that's what it's all about. It's all about the targets right now. And Marshall gets probably the most of anybody other than Julio. Number 7, Sammy Watkins. at Philly. He had another good game. I think it's his third straight really good game. I think he said he gets Philly, so the potential to torch them is higher than most. Number 8, Calvin Johnson. Even though he didn't have as great a game, he I believe he scored again. I have to look into that actually. He's last month of the season. It's been a much different. It's funny because like as Calvin goes, so go the Lions.
Yeah.
So we were not throwing to him the first couple months of the season. What are you 1-7 or whatever 1-6 whatever they were. Now they throw into him, starting to win some games again.
His quarterback looked
shocker.
Yep.
Exactly. I almost put him in the top 12, and he just missed the cut. He just missed out to Winston, Fitzpatrick, and Taylor, the big trio there.
James Winston, he's surprising me, man. How well he's playing for what I thought we were going to get in the NFL from him. The chaos that came in with him.
Well, the quarterbacks,
Focused,
the rookie quarterbacks haven't been as awful as they were in the past. I mean, Manziel was a train wreck last year, but he started to turn around this year until Pettin literally he cost himself his own job, trying to make a statement. Like, I get it, you're trying to show like, oh, we don't tolerate this BS, and Manziel's benched. Well, you started Austin Davis, who is not an NFL player, and you just got blown out. And I don't think Manziel's starting in this week. I didn't look into it. He is starting?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
All right, good. He has to. It's better late.
Yeah, well,
but maybe too late. I mean,
he's already had 3 strikes. I don't know what they're doing now. It's a different ball game with him. Evidently, they so want him to do well because they need that there in Cleveland.
And he was doing well. Yeah. He was doing much better. And then you completely throw off his progression and his confidence by benching him again. Stupid. He cost himself his job. There's no way. There's no way he's coming back. Which sucks. He's a local guy, but he's out there. There's no way he makes it in the next season. Number 9 is the originator of Mr. Targets. That's Julio Jones. Yep. I just don't like the team and the fact that he's playing Carolina. Like I said, it's going to be much tougher. But they're still going to throw the ball. And he's still going to get the most targets because they're not going to win this game.
Carolina's on a mission now. They're the only undefeated team. They're the best team in football. So now it's everybody about beating them, knocking them out. Even got the Miami talk now. The old Miami players are coming out of the woodwork to talk about their undefeated season.
What's that one guy's name who always talks?
Mercury Morris.
Mercury Morris. Yeah. Yep. He comes out every year.
He's the leader of the pack. He's the only one. No one else gives a shit.
He's the only one that cares.
He has a champagne bottle. He as soon as the team loses, he snaps the bottle.
He goes like voodoo doctors every week to try to
He was like that when he played. He was all messed up when he played too.
It's funny because you wouldn't if they weren't undefeated and you hear about him every year, you would never know who Mercury Morris was.
Not ever. You wouldn't. I would.
No, you would because you play. Yeah, you were alive then. But no, Mercury Morris is a dork. I can't wait to hear it again because he's gonna get interviewed. Whether they, if they win, it'll be, oh, are you nervous? Or if they lose, it'll be, oh, how happy are you? He'll get himself on TV. Yeah. Good old Mercury. Good job. Was he a good fantasy player in say?
No, we didn't have that. He was pretty well. As far as the fantasy player, he was in the backfield where he had 1,000 yards. Larry Zonk they had 1,000 yards. 2 running backs in the same backfield, 1,000 yards.
I'd flex him.
And they had a back. They had that Jim Kick was his fullback, and he had like 700 yards. They were monsters back in the early 70s.
Oh, they're perfect.
Crazy stuff.
Number 10 wide receiver Mike Evans. Like I said, matchup. Home against New Orleans, good enough for me.
Different rules.
Number 11 is Alshon Jeffries.
My man, pots and pans
with an S on the end.
He's a little down last week.
Yeah, I know. But he said he gets Washington out on the road. I don't like Washington on the road, like I mentioned before. So I do like Alshon Jeffrey here, number 11. Number 12, Eric Decker at home against Tennessee. He's solid, really, really solid. Probably the most underrated receiver in football is Eric Decker. Number 13, Larry Fitzgerald at home against Minnesota. Got a great quarterback and that great offense. I think it's hard to say that they're the best team in football.
It's going to be a good championship game between the two of them.
I can't. Yeah, I can't put them lower than 3 when it comes to best team in football. I think they're better than Cincinnati. I think they're better than
Arizona's so well coached.
Denver.
Man. They don't make stupid mistakes. They don't have dumb play calling. They got good coaching. I mean, all the way through. For the most part.
And you have a legit, solid veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
And look at that. They just lost their number 1 running back, and they
don't care.
They lost to number 1. Right. Had to start Johnson. Lost him. Yeah. Here they are on a rookie 5th round pick.
Not a beat.
What was the score this week? 38-3 or something like that. Whatever it was.
For a defensive team, they're a scoring machine, Arizona, man. Yes. Oh, NFL scoring. I mean, we just talked about Seattle, and all you think about Seattle is their defense. And now they got both back. I don't know what happened over there. All of a sudden, they learned how to play offensive football. And now they're, Seattle's looking good. I mean, don't count them out right now.
There's not a chance that they. obviously they're making the playoffs. That's a given at this point. But I would never bet money on them going one and done. They're definitely winning a game. They're going to win a game.
The only thing they don't have going is they won't have home field, and that'll probably hurt them. But if they did, if they were on the move now with that possibility, they'd be the scariest team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, like I said, and plus right now they'll either obviously be the 5 or the 6 seed.
I hate that coach.
If they get to the 5, obviously they're playing the NFC East winner. You can just chalk it up as a free win, whether that's us, whether it's the Giants, whether it's the Redskins.
You put all the teams together.
Get an all-star team of the whole NFC East.
That's a great idea, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
Although now I will actually, and it's funny.
Who's our quarterback?
Eli, right? That's sad.
Yeah, there you go.
A better question: who's the running back?
We get Romo back by then.
Who's the running back? I mean, is Darren McFadden the best running back in the East? It's not
what?
It's not Murray.
A healthy Matthews I'd put back there. I've been thinking about it.
It's sad that
when Matthews touches the ball, what's he get? He's.
It's sad that we're doing an NFC East All-Star team, and the running back ready wouldn't be as good as an undrafted rookie named Thomas Rawls.
Right.
That's sad. Although the receivers would be good
it depends. If you talk like that, then
Dez and Odell on the ends on the outside, pretty good.
What about the Eagles running back? What's his name? The one who's
Sproles?
No, the one who's bitching the morning. Yeah, well, if he's put in a certain offense, it might be different.
Good point. Who's the coach of this team? If Chip's the coach,
not Chip. It can't be Chip. It's just
whoever wins the division gets the right to coach his team. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna.
That's a
mind of Mike.
You know what?
You're gonna see the NFC East All-Star team. This is what
we'll do for Monday night. We're gonna put together who we think would be the best team we could take out of the NFC East to verse the rest of the league.
And we'll put them up against the Seattle Seahawks. See who wins that game. I'll tell you right now.
The
line in that game. We'll go neutral field. Neutral field. I think Seattle's still the favorite.
That's funny. That's a good idea, man.
That's something to say too.
What's really funny is we can't even say, okay, this player is definitely the quarterback and that's definitely the running back. That's how bad it is, and that's pathetic.
The only thing you know is receivers. You got Odell. That's the bright spot. We could put Deshaun out there.
Yeah, Odell,
we have Deshaun return punts. We'll do that.
Yeah, right. You got Odell and Dez, and there's our wide receivers. I can't believe we can't pick a quarterback.
Eli, he's got rings. So yeah, that's I don't know where I was at. Somehow that all came out of Larry Fitz. I think that was.
Yeah, right.
So Larry Fitz, number 13. Number 14, Jeremy Maclin. Like I said, scorching hot team. He's making Alex Smith relevant.
Yeah,
I know you like to hear that. You're a big Alex Smith guy.
Well, I just keep picking him up and dropping him.
At home against San Diego. Love the matchup. I'm fine with that. Number 15, Brandon Cooks at Tampa Bay. As long as Breeze is quarterback, he's going to throw to somebody. Whether it's Cooks, it looks like I think last week was Coleman who scored a touchdown, not Cooks, but I think Cooks is still the top guy there. Obviously, he's getting targets. And losing Ingram, that's going to be even more targets to other people. Number 16, Demaryius Thomas, starting to drop down a little bit. Obviously, Peyton seemed to favor him more than Osweiler. So Osweiler seems to be moving the ball around more altogether. But I still like Demaryius, number 16 at home against Oakland. Number 17, Jarvis Landry at home. He's against the Giants. I think it was 2 weeks ago when he had the best game of his career, and he came back last week and had the worst game of his career. Right. He was awful last week. But Giants defense is bad. And like I said, Dolphins at home, they're a good team at home. Number 18, again, I can't believe I'm putting him back in here, Doug Baldwin. But
he's playing.
He's playing.
Well.
The team's playing, and the quarterback's playing. And they're playing Baltimore. So that's
Baltimore's
it's great. That's a great matchup.
Pride they got left.
They're playing for number 1 pick. So they're probably trying to lose this game. Number 19, Martavis Bryant. He had another 100-yard game. All he does is put up big game. That's all he does. Like I said, he gets Cincinnati. So the matchup's not great, but he is. Matchup's not great, but he is. End of that. Number 20, Danny Amendola. He's at Houston. Originally, I didn't even have my top 20. He actually was the last person. I took somebody out and put him in.
He's key.
By default. He's key because that's all that's really left. But I'm not. To have the number 1 quarterback and I have none of his receivers in my top 20, I had to. That's not the only reason I put him in. Obviously, Amendola is good. I just think this is a chance for him to do something. Although that's not a real call.
Nah, that's a bad phone.
That's bad. Oh, sorry. I feel like I have 7 cell phones on the table here. Sleeper pick of the week this week. I'm going with Devontae Parker. I told you last week he was one of my waiver wire pickups of the week. He ended up putting. I think he went up for 85 yards and a touchdown, something like that. So this week I'm upgrading him to sleeper of the week. Maybe next week he'll be top 20 of the week. Who knows? And my bust receiver of the week is Dez Bryant.
Keep getting him the ball.
Yeah, when you don't have a good team, you don't have a good quarterback. I just don't like matchup being at Green Bay. I didn't pull up my trusty weather app here, but Might be a little, although it's gonna be 70 degrees here. Who knows? But it could be, Green Bay could be a little chilly. Castle's a SoCal boy, so I the whole matchup in general, and I just not a fan of Dez this week. I did better here with my picks last week. My sleeper pick of the week was Jordan Matthews, who didn't have a great game, but he scored that last. I think was he scored the last touchdown they scored?
That Matthews? I thought that was.
I know Ertz scored the first, but I think Matthews scored the last one. Pretty confident he did because he had 12.6 points, which isn't great.
It must have been because he had him in yards.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
So it wasn't. I said it wasn't a great game, but the fact that, like I said, it didn't get double digits out of a low end 3 flex option. That's fine. And my bust receiver of the week, nailed this one. I told you I was Brandon LaFell. I said I don't know why people are putting him so high. He stinks. He's awful.
Concrete hands, man.
Yeah, he went out there and had 6.7 points. So
and he was targeted a lot too.
He was, but he stinks.
Yeah.
When you stink, when you're not good at your job,
when Brady can't make you good, you gotta get off the field.
Exactly. So I mean, it's too easy to put him as bust week anymore because he's just so awful. Yeah. And waiver wire pickups this week. I had this guy a couple weeks ago. After he had a 2-touchdown game. But a lot of these rookies are starting to come out now. Devontae Parker, he was a ghost all season. But now once these teams are out of it, they kind of start throwing the rookies, see what they got. And Dorial Green-Beckham had his best game of his career last week at 112 yards, something like that last week. Granted, it was in the great shootout of Jacksonville or whatever. I don't know where the game was even being played at. Actually, it was in Tennessee, but Green-Beckham. That's actually the guy I was telling you about. I had to cut somebody.
Here we got a call. Sports Goombahs Fantasy Show. Welcome.
How you guys doing tonight?
How you doing? Man. I guess you made it.
You made the playoffs, huh?
Yes, I did actually. I snuck it out.
Good man.
Going into this past week, from 4th place to 9th place was separated by 1 game. So it was a tight one.
It's a dogfight.
I needed one of 2 teams to lose and needed to win to get in.
Yeah.
So
it all worked out.
All worked out. Going into Monday night, I was up 10 points going against McFadden, and I had Dan Bailey left.
So that last field, that was a field goal game. That literally couldn't have asked for anything better than that.
And I just picked Bailey up before this week, so that was the first time I started him all year.
Definitely shouldn't be a free agent.
I know. I've been having trouble with kickers all year, so I've been just going in and out.
Just like the real team.
Trouble with kickers.
I've started 5 different kickers this year.
It's not the Steelers.
But, I mean, obviously, if Anderson doesn't play this week, I'm going to start Hillman without a doubt.
So you're like me, carrying both.
If he does play, who do I start, or do I throw in James White?
Ugh. Yeah. If he plays, I like of the 2 in general. I like Anderson better. Yeah. It's just a matter of how much he will play.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously we'll know more. We'll know more later towards the weekend. So if he's playing, they get to full blown. He's playing. If he's questionable and all that, then I'd be a little nervous. Maybe roll with a healthy Hillman. But if he's flat out okay, he's healthy, he's playing, I would go with Anderson.
I've been actually hoping for Hillman to get hurt for the rest.
Just one of the 2.
Me too, man.
But,
wrong one keeps getting hurt.
And then I start Anderson this week, and he ends up going down before halftime, and I thought that was going to kill me.
That's the worst. I hate it.
But I also when you were talking about Hightower earlier, I didn't actually know that Ingram was done for the year.
Yep.
And I went on real quick, and he was still there, so I grabbed him.
Yeah, it's funny because if Yahoo has the thing on their app where it's like player ads, and it was Hightower went from 0% owned. He's up to like 45% owned. He has like 180,000 ads today alone. I wouldn't jump on him.
I did the same thing you just did. I just went on and picked him up.
I should keep him on my bench though.
If you have better options, if you're desperate, you have to play him, then go for it. But if you have better options, I would definitely ride somewhere else.
But I have on my bench. I have Hillman, James White, Duke Johnson, Langford.
Yeah, like guys, I would play Duke Johnson over him. I'd probably even play White over him too.
I'd Langford too.
Yeah, I don't like Langford anymore.
You're not gonna you don't have the same backfield, I think.
Forte's too healthy now. I don't like Langford anymore.
I wish he was done for the year too.
But you have Yeldon though, right?
You're glad to be in the playoffs right now.
You still have Yeldon though, right?
Actually, no. I traded him for Matthew a few weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because you had the depth, and then 2 weeks later you lost like half your team with Chris Johnson went down.
Pretty much, Chris Johnson, Deion Lewis, they all went down right.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
Jordan Matthews scored last week though, so
him and I are running the same backfields because I lost Anderson and. Yep.
Well, you both made the playoffs, so there you go.
Because we're good at this.
And I'm hoping Anderson's healthy because I'd rather start him.
Yeah, so would I.
He's been starting to look good. But, I mean, he had like 42 yards on 7 carries before he got hurt.
Yeah, he's definitely the one I would rather have in there. It's just a matter of health. It's a good matchup, though, against Oakland.
But I know Chandler's questionable this week, but like Chandler or Gates this week?
Well, definitely Chandler again. Yeah, I mean, he caught like
he has to play.
Yeah, he literally has to play. Like if he doesn't play, they're only the tight ends that like 300-pounder.
Yeah, right.
Who's literally just a tight end or a lineman. Yeah, Chandler. Like, I knew he was going to score. I tweeted out because somebody else tweeted me asking if he should play Chandler. I said he's going to score, and he did. And if he plays again, he's going to score again, for sure.
Right. I was actually a little nervous the way the Eagles looked the past 2 weeks. I actually thought they might pull that game out like beforehand, but I was playing against a guy that had Brady, Blunt, LaFell, and Amendola.
He went all in. He went all in.
So it could have turned out real bad for him.
That's definitely it's a scary matchup.
But luckily Blunt didn't really play the second half.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Blunt did nothing.
You never do that, man. That's.
No, I have a guy in my other league who went all in on Patriots.
Yeah, that's kiss of death, man.
And
start rolling 4 or 5 players.
The second to last touchdown the Patriots scored was the Chandler. So if it was anyone else, I might have lost this week.
Pretty much negates what he had with Brady.
Yeah. So.
All right.
I was just wondering who to start. If I'm gonna have to monitor Anderson, see what happens, and
like I said,
maybe if he's not playing, I'll start Hillman. But I might think about starting White this week. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the injuries get towards the end of the week. See who practices and when.
But, all right,
man. Thanks for checking in.
All right. You got it.
No problem.
Good deal. Oh, he made the playoffs.
It's funny, guys. Before the show, and I'm talking to Cashy, and he was just asking things. I was like, well, you got to realize that. I mean, if you're watching, obviously we're not going to have more people start watching. It's only going to be less people watching because you got to figure if you're out of the playoffs, you're not watching anymore. You don't care about fantasy. Right. So I was saying to him, I was like, I wonder if he's going to call in. I was like, I wonder if he made it. I was sitting there like, I wonder if he made it. I'm concerned. I want to know if he made it.
Mike, look.
Once the phone rang, I was like, all right, he made it.
If we're as good as we think we are, and if people tell us we are, then our whole crew that listens to us should be making playoffs here.
You should be.
If you listen to us every week, it's obvious because everybody in the Sports Goombahs crew, everybody's in the playoffs. Anything has any association with this show.
Not that one, right?
Oh, B didn't make it? No, I don't know. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, there's no way he made it.
Not
He works Wednesday nights.
Yeah, too busy.
He's too busy. No, it's the fact that he started 3 guys on a bye week one week. That's why he doesn't count. He can't be lumped in with us. When you start 3 guys on a bye week, and he won. That's the best part. He won that week too. Sorry, Chef. Started throwing under the bus there. So where was I? Was at actually I just was going over the sleepers, and actually it was the waiver picks. First I said Dorial Green Beckham. Second one I mentioned him 2 weeks ago again. So I'm gonna throw him back out there. Tyler Lockett. He had another good game last week. I think like 19 points. But I mean, pretty much Jermaine Curse from Seattle. He stinks. Not Javon Curse. Not that one. He's on the dream team, right?
Yeah.
No, not him. But Jermaine Curse, he stinks. He's awful. I think Lockett is kind of moving up towards, and the fact that Jimmy Graham's out now too.
Javon Curse was going before the dream team.
Was he? Yeah. I love Javon Curse.
He's from the Super Bowl team.
Okay. He's before the dream. You're right. So Tyler Lockett would be a solid ad. Also, the last one, Brian Hartline. Can't believe I'm saying that name. But Hartline's had, I think it's like 3 straight solid games for Cleveland. They don't really have much else in terms of receivers and weapons, really. So if you needed a desperation guy, I mean, Hartline actually, I don't think it was last year. I think he was pretty bad last year. But the year before that, he had 1,000 yards back down in Miami. So, and I think he had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, believe it or not. So Hartline's still relevant, apparently, in 2015. That is my last waiver pickup of the week. And that is the show. We're getting towards the hour mark, trying to cut this thing off. Good luck to everybody out there. And stay tuned next week for the semifinal show. If you're still with us, hopefully we are. Hopefully our callers still with us. So he's hopefully
we'll be here.
I'll be here. I got a first round bye, so I will be here. If I lose that week, I can guarantee you're going to see me come in the next week like number 1's this, 2, 3 this, 4, 5 go home bye. Right. So you'll see an angry one in 2 weeks. But for now, I'm still in a good mood. Next week, in a good mood. Got my bye. But that could all change soon. So like I said, make sure you check us out every Monday, 9 p.m. for the weekly Sports Goombahs show. February 1st, Steam Pub in Southampton. Catch us live. Follow us on Twitter. And if you have questions, because like I said, doing a Wednesday show, you can only do so much. I can't tell you who's going to practice on Friday and Saturday and play. So that's why you got to follow us on Twitter for the up-to-date starts and sits and questions. We answer them all. Thanks for tuning in, Cashin. Thanks for joining me again.
Sports Goombahs. We'll see you next. We'll see you Monday night. Tim Hightower.
Tim Hightower. Welcome back.
15 carries, 120 yards, 2 passes.
I can see it now.
Win a chicken dinner. Good night, everyone.
Say.